All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again this week, where we take a look at the latest news that's happening and impacting your real estate decisions. So we have Rosie, Brittany, and of course, our names are right here on the bottom of the screen. And for some reason, I always want to tell you who we are. But we're going to be taking a look at the market, seeing what it's doing, and then have a conversation about it. And we're so grateful to have you here on the show today. Great. So everybody, what do y'all think? How's y'all's week so far?
Week is great. Breeze is greater.
It's real estate. What can you say?
All right, Breeze, enlighten us. Enlighten everybody. Like people think we're just real estate, Tell us, give us some sneak peek
What do you want to know?
anonymously.
What do you want to know?
What happened before the live?
Just, you want me to tell you?
Anonymously? Yeah.
Anonymously? I'll tell you. Anonymously, I get a statement for a client of ours that's closing tomorrow, and they're supposed to get a certain amount of credit. Let's just say, I'm making up a number here, $20,000 credit towards closing, and it's showing not $20,000. It's showing like $17,000 credit. So there's a gap of, it was like 2,500 gap that I'm seeing. And I was like, what's going on? Turns out that is correct. The gap is there because they have to bring a certain amount to the table for their down payment. But good news is they don't have the cost. They're getting all the closing costs covered. And it's because they are not escrowing their property taxes is why we were running into this issue. And their insurance, their homeowner's insurance was a lot less than what we had anticipated from the original quote that they had gotten. So in essence, it all worked out. They're happy. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But it was a shock when I saw the settlement statement. I thought, what's going on? Why are we not seeing the whole credit?
Wow.
It's a lot of
So
emotion.
you're hunting $2,500 for buyers a day before closing.
Yeah.
Never
On the
stop.
title, on the phone with lender, on the phone with buyer, on the phone with title again, on the phone with lender again.
You're playing Easter egg hunt.
I'm hunting for the money, okay, and the Easter eggs.
Yeah. And like, I don't want to be blind or deaf to the big old news out there about NAR settlement, where, we are asked to present the value we bring to the table. I think it's about that time. I'm kind of excited about it because too much gets done in the back end as our automated process or skill that we have developed over years. And we don't get to speak all about it. So I think there is going to be a clear line that is going to get drawn on who is showing up as a functionary professional or who's showing up as the fiduciary. And we can go into it a little bit later as the conversation grows. So I'm excited to hear. Roger looks all juiced up, ready to go. Like,
No, I'm excited. Actually, what you're saying is really resonating with me because it's the years of experience that we bring to the table, and there is a sense of value add, right? There's a sense of we're doing something for our clients, that we're not just like warm bodies sitting at the table, that there's actually something happening here. And so for that reason, I think that you hit on a high note. And I think a lot's going to change, and the aspect of new agents entering the market, and but I don't think it's going to change for the professionals who actually honed in on their craft. There's just too many variables,
Yeah, I want to spend maybe a couple of minutes here on, like, I have been taking notes down. I'm working for our team to make sure we are revamping our presentations, our value adds, our value, marketing for our clients. And, I got to study these 8 steps for functionary versus fiduciary. So many people out there are licensed, but who is acting as a fiduciary versus functionary? And I think too many people out there are acting as functionaries and have diluted or muddied the water for the real value that is brought to the table. So if y'all are okay with it, I will quickly like to go over these 8 points that I feel like are.
Yeah, I think our clients can look out for those 8 points. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
To
So if you are working with a professional and you're wondering what value they bring, you can ask yourself these questions on how they're showing up for you. So a functionary is going to have a very shallow relationship, where a fiduciary is going to have a very deep relationship. Well, they're going to ask in-depth questions about the move, the motivation behind it, because as much as people just want to ride the transaction sometimes, that, hey, I know exactly what I want, I know exactly how much I want to sell the property for. But there comes a point, and Bree, I think you and I have dealt with it this week, that without knowing the in-depth understanding of what's causing the move, there's so much that doesn't get resolved, right? And we're constantly asking those in-depth questions to our people. Now, if somebody's a functionary, they're going to assume the least responsibility. And if somebody's a fiduciary, they're going to accept the most responsibility for whatever is happening. Now, a lot of people like to do pointing fingers, like, we're in negotiations, we're supposed to close tomorrow, and lender still hasn't gotten the docs to the company. Now, a functionary is going to say, well, it's not my fault, it's lender's fault, or it's other buyer's fault. But I don't remember when was the last time our team ever pointed finger at said that it's somebody else's fault. We say, hey, this is the nature of business. We're working on it. Let's see what we can do. What are the loopholes that we can come up with so we don't have to compromise our move? And this is the true definition between a functionary versus a fiduciary. Now, a functionary is going to say, hey, this is the data, this is the information. What do you want to list the property for? Where a fiduciary actually will, like, Bree, how many times do you get on the phone and actually interpret the property value for your clients? Like, we had a buyer last week and we got under contract, but we went all the back to 2021 to see what the sale value for that neighborhood was 2 years ago, so that we can see the growth trajectory or the opportunity we are tapping into in today's market. A functionary is going to react to the request. How many times our clients come up with a request, Bree?
300 times a day.
Not 300 times a year, 300 times a day, right? They have, because it's a dynamic transaction, right? Now, a functionary is going to want to box people in and not let them change their mind.
You know who a functionary is somebody who breathes hard.
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
long pauses.
You changed your mind again? I thought you were going to buy a single story. Now you want a double story? Oh my gosh. Like,
long silent pauses.
You didn't fix the paint. You didn't fix the flooring. Oh my gosh. Like, how am I supposed to sell this house? Like, that's like very shallow thinking.
Yeah.
Where a fiduciary is actually going to anticipate the needs of a client. Like, we can almost see it coming for some people, Bree. Like, Bree and I touch base every morning about our clients, and 90% of our conversation is to predict 10 steps ahead. Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
Saying that as not putting them in a box, because a lot of times people will tell us, I'm just going to use an example. You know, I want a single story only home, no double story. I need at least 2,000 square feet. I need it to be in this certain area and this certain price range, right? They give us this criteria. But then they kind of open up and tell us a little bit more about what they're looking for long term, what's important to them, all of these things. And if we would just have them in this little box of criteria that they gave us, they wouldn't find the home that they actually end up loving, which might be a 1.5 story in a location that's nearby. They're getting a lot more for their money, and it aligns with the commute that they're really wanting to get, you know? So we just had that happen with one of our clients. You know, he was looking for something that he could live in for a little while and turn into an investment, and thought about maybe renovating something. But after looking at some properties that would need renovation, it would actually cost him a lot more time and money and energy. And he ended up buying something that was only a couple years old, that had a super clean inspection report, that is going to grow and appreciate for him with little to no work.
Yeah. Like, these are the things that you just don't know what you don't know. Yeah. If you don't know what it is going to be like to do the repairs until to experience the process, and you're not allowing your people to change the mind and have a different angle at it, then good luck.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Right.
This was very interesting when they said a functionary focuses on tasks where a fiduciary focuses on an outcome. Like now, we're not saying we don't finish our tasks. Like we are outcome oriented, but our tasks get done. Like we have a very solid team who makes sure that we're pushing through our work, but our focus is not task. Our focus is an outcome. What is the ideal outcome for our clients? What is the ideal outcome for us as a team to pursue this new opportunity? Functionary does a lot of telling and selling. Let me tell you what you need to do. Let me tell you how this is going to go down. Where a fiduciary educates and guides. Let me educate you on the process and let me guide you through this. You already know, every person knows what's best for them. They deep down know. They just don't know the battlefield or the playfield they're in. We are here to make them aware of what they are dealing with. They know what's the best thing for them, and nobody else can ever know better than them. We just help them uncover it. Now, functionaries are replaceable. They're dime a dozen. You know, that's how I think companies like Listing Spark popped up, where you can just have a flat fee and go on the market and literally have zero to no representation. And people were like literally driving the selling process and not even aware. I remember, this is like a shocker to me. I remember I took over a listing for a client from Listing Spark, and within 8 days of being on the market, we had multiple offers and we sold the property. And I asked them, I said, what happened with Listing Spark? You know what happened? The very first day we went on the market, we got to find out that people were having problem opening the lock on the property.
Oh, yeah. Property
And
was
I don't think Listing Spark ever notified the clients about that, because this is the first time they were finding out. So if people can't even get in, how are they supposed to buy the property?
Exactly.
Functionary versus fiduciary.
right.
They are replaceable. So there goes a bunch of flat fee services out there. Now, functionaries, obviously, they assume minimum responsibility, so they're minimally paid. Fiduciaries are highly paid because they're assuming highest responsibility from point A to point B. So I thought it would be cool to just go over this little conversation, because people wonder, you know, how we show up. What is the role of an agent broker in a transaction? All right, guys, I'll let you take over.
Yeah, so one of the first things that I wanted to share today, guys, jumping into the news, was that Austin has the most number of, or the biggest increase in millionaires in our population. Can y'all see my screen right now? Awesome. So Austin is, if you look at Austin down here, we're at 110%. Y'all can see my screen though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we've had the largest increase in millionaires. We've had 110% increase. And if you look at the list, Houston and Dallas are at the top as well. And so I really thought this was something that you guys would love to see. And what I feel about this is that I feel like there's a reason for this, you know, and a lot of people are moving out here and they're owning real estate. And if you want to become a millionaire, I guess one of the easiest ways is to buy more real estate. So that's what we're here to help you do. And team, do y'all have anything y'all want to add on this?
Move to Austin and become a millionaire. Is
Yeah.
You know, Roger, you and I had probably the most intense commercial real estate experience this past weekend.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Bri, I know this is something that we live and do and not even talk much about. That, like, the amount of work it takes to analyze a deal. Like, we're looking at their HOA payments, like in a residential world, their property taxes, the rent growth, the property valuations, you know, the condition of the property, the neighborhood reports, crime reports, all that good stuff, right? And in commercial, just multiply it by 10. Just multiply it by 10, because like let's suppose if you're buying a self-storage, right? The amount of information that you have to gather on demographics, like, is the population growing or decreasing?
It's growing.
Yeah.
In Texas.
If it's not growing, should you be buying there?
Yeah.
How many square footage of storage space do you have available per head in that town? Is that area overbuilt or underbuilt? What is the occupancy and what is the reason for that occupancy to be lower? What is the crime rate? How's the pest control there? How's the property management there? Are the financials just made up or they're the real financials? What is the marketing like? What is the customer service like? What is the, there were like 7 people involved in analyzing a property. Literally 3 of them actually visited the property and acted like a secret shopper. So that is the level of due diligence that goes
Rosie, would you say, I think the net worth of the room must be at least 500 million to $1 billion. $1 billion in assets, I would say.
Yeah.
Definitely we had $1 billion of assets in that room, and it was 12-hour days. And I can tell you this, we went to dinner with some of our friends from the event, and the only thing that we could talk about is more real estate. Like, it's something we don't get tired of. And I think partnering up with somebody like that and having a realtor in your corner that could talk about real estate at length and never get bored of it, that's the professional you want to have in your corner. Because let's face it, not everybody's going to be wired that way, right? Some people are thinking about sports or different things, different areas of interest. This is what we love. We eat, breathe, and sleep real estate.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know how I went on that tangent, but the point is there's a lot of work involved.
So Bree, you had,
and we should talk about it.
Actually, you know what? I had thought about bringing that up today too, so I'm glad that you mentioned it. There must have been 100 investors, so it's relatively still a small group, but everybody's wired. And you know what really amazed me, Rosie, is out of all the commercial investors, the people that own thousands of square feet of commercial space still own homes, and they still were talking to us about residential investments. Which what I thought was really fascinating, because usually you tend to think one or the other, but in this case, it's definitely not.
Yeah. And I think residential real estate, and that was one of our driving reasons. Like, how can we help people acquire real estate at an arm's length? They don't have to like drum up this really big resource or idea or research time to buy new real estate. Eventually people graduate to commercial. Like Brie, a lot of our clients who start residential are asking for commercial investments now. And that's part of the reason we had tapped into this resource, so that we can bring to the table some commercial opportunities that are not available to people otherwise. And I think residential does make it easily available for people to step into.
Yeah, what I'm realizing about commercial for a lot of people is that they have to be committed to the due diligence process. And it's almost like a full-time job looking at properties. So you can graduate and, have an opportunity to leave your W-2 and then be full-on commercial real estate investor. And you want to look at demographics, you want to look at traffic count, you want to visit the property. And I think we're talking to the investors on commercial, for every 12 properties they look at, they'll purchase one. So these are in-depth analysis of 12 properties. So if you want to mimic the commercial real estate investor, I would say the easiest way to do that is to start doing that with residential real estate. Start looking at those properties, opening your emails, and it takes a lot of discipline and work. So get used to it on residential, and soon enough you will own commercial.
Very smart. Well done, Bree. Anything to add?
I think that's the perfect ideal.
Bree, by the way, I just want to say your hair looks really good.
I was going to say something. I was like, that's going to be totally off topic.
I was like, man, what's different? Like, I'm just like, my eyes are really like opening up. They have been glared on the screen all day. And I just looked at you. I was like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Bree, you had shared with me the Velocity Project. And so I wanted to look into that a little bit more, and also wanted to share that on a map. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Velocity Project and what it means for our investors.
Okay. And home buyers.
And home buyers.
I'll go into that after you do that
Yeah.
up.
Absolutely. And you said it. I think that's where my mindset is. I think even if you are a home buyer, we want to see your property appreciate in value over time. And so we're always thinking in those regards. So when you go to sell, it's worth more. And so here's the Velocity project. Let's look at the headline first. So years after being announced, Velocity rises in Southeast Austin. And they shared this graphic, which I thought was really fascinating. You can kind of zoom in here and look at it. It's huge, right?
Wow.
So it almost looks like the domain, or actually, I think it does look like the domain. And and that's the word. Those are the words they're using here in describing the project. And then once you look at it, these are the apartments. It's like a 307 unit apartment. But I think they're going to have a lot more housing. I think they said over 1,000 homes in the area. So now this is 2.9 million square feet of space. And if I remember correctly, it'll be the project will be big enough. See, look, they got the domain Mueller in here. So the project would be big enough to bring 2 large employers, is what they're thinking. Would provide enough room for 2 large corporate campuses, plus traditional office space. So development velocity is near the future. In the near future includes a second multifamily complex, retail restaurant properties, and let's take a look at where it is now. I'm going to zoom out. So here we have the airport, and right there is Velocity, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And Rosie, we've been going through this corridor for years, and I think it's about time that they did something high value with it, because the traffic count and the cars in the area, I mean, I think it gives
When
us a
you're
lot of
about to
growth.
add 60 more gates to Austin Airport, domain is needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also we're having the light rail go directly into the airport. So what does that mean for the people that are living nearby? So Bree, you said you wanted to share something with us on this. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted to say, in terms of velocity, so a couple of things I noticed. So one of our clients bought a property in Chaparral Crossing, which is, I mean, not very far from where this is going to be. And this is an area that the numbers for investment look good. This is a home buyer that eventually would want to invest, and will turn this into an investment property, after a few years of living in the home. But the numbers looked really good for investors. And then I just so happened to be showing some homes on Sunday to another couple out in Cedar Creek. So Cedar Creek has this is what the builder called it. She said it's Austin's best kept secret, but she's trying to not make it a secret anymore because she wants to sell the homes. These are homes that are on like half an acre to like 1.5 acres. You're looking at minimum of 2,500 square feet properties, and some of them are as low as 600,000. They drop some prices, and then they go up to about $1 million. But I mean, if you're going to be in Cedar Creek, you're going to be what, like 15, 20 minutes away from where Velocity is going to be. And the potential for growth and to get into that area now before things start really growing and appreciating. And it's really pretty drive out there, guys. It's gorgeous. So, it is a little bit further out from Austin, but if all the things in Austin are coming to that area, it's kind of like how, I think about how like, Leander was, or even Round Rock 5-10 years ago. And now the domain is like the centralized area where people go. Pretty soon Velocity will be where people are going to hang out.
I think Cedar Creek is beautiful. I wonder, and we've been in that area, Rosie, going to Lockhart for barbecue, and it's just really scenic, lots of trees.
No,
And
it's I always wondered the amount of traffic Highway 71 experienced. I always wondered, like, when are we going to hear another domain?
Yeah.
When are we going to, there's way too much industry coming into Lockhart for us to not see new construction come in. And I remember almost 8 years ago, they were saying that Smithville is further up. And that's where they said they're going to start cutting like 1 to 5+ acre lots And like they always don't give you the most accurate location. It could be the Cedar Creek location that is now being built for executives. So I am in love with this opportunity. I think good job, like for highlighting it. Now imagine the confidence for the buyer who's buying in Chaparral. How do you say it? Chaparral Crossing. How do you say it?
Chaparral Crossing, yeah.
Chaparral Crossing. Imagine the confidence for that person.
Yeah.
Right? They could have just bought it, but they're now buying with confidence. Whole different experience. Functionary versus fiduciary. I'm going to make it my 2024 motto. Like everybody, just come here. Let me tell you what it really means to be in real estate.
We need a reel.
Elon, help me out here.
No way.
Wait, speaking of Elon, I was visiting another builder in Dripping Springs on Monday, and so I heard this from both of the builders, one in Cedar Creek, which is on the east side, and then one in Dripping on the west side, that executives of Tesla are moving into each of the areas because the commute, it's not. I mean, Cedar Creek is obviously a lot closer, right?
No.
But it's not too far, and they only have to go in like 2 to 3 times a week, so they don't mind the drive.
Okay, so
Wow.
Dripping Springs just takes 71 all the way.
Dripping Springs has a lot of great communities, great area, lots of things to do. The area that I visited was amazing. I'll be sending out more info on that too. So
guys, this is Dripping Springs, and you take 71 to Tesla.
Wow.
But I think I wanted to share some of these photos of Dripping Springs. Look at that, guys. Wildlife. I mean, I would.
Dripping Springs is way prettier than this.
You think so?
Yeah, I want to wait. Let me show you this. Wait.
Okay.
Let me share my screen.
Please. Rosie did not like my photography.
That was not your photography.
Look at this. So this is like Calaterra where I was.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Now Bree, click on that big image.
Bree, that is beautiful.
Guys, get this. They have their own coffee shop that has coffee, that has like little snacks and everything like that. Oh,
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. They have Bluebonnets.
This is Dripping Springs.
Oh, that's Dripping Springs, yeah.
Is Dripping Springs.
Yeah.
And this is that neighborhood. Wow, what a master plan community.
Gorgeous.
Wide open spaces.
Gorgeous.
Close to the city.
Yeah.
Gorgeous people. Gorgeous real estate.
Springs. Let me know. I have all the info on it.
All right. Get going.
All right. So we're going to head up north for a second to Hutto. So here, I know I'm sharing my screen quite a bit more today, but I wanted to make it an interactive experience. And so work begins on development that could bring nearly 3,000 homes to Hutto. The planned new neighborhood will encompass more than 800 acres. And I thought this graphic was really pretty. I thought it was really nice. This is great for Hutto. So Houston-based Empire Continental Land LP is building this neighborhood. And just want to show y'all where it is on a map. So apparently it's close to Samsung, or Hutto is close to Samsung, but I'm sure it's still going to be a little bit of a drive because of all the construction that's happening near Samsung. But you're right here. So
is Empire Continental the same one that that built in oh gosh, where is it? It's in Houston. They have several different communities in Houston that have really awesome, I don't know, guys, about y'all, but the neighborhoods in Houston have like really badass pools and amenities. Okay. This looks similar to some of the ones that I've seen in Houston. And if so,
and I'd say it's only 30 minutes from downtown Austin. Sorry to cut you off.
That's okay. That's not bad.
No.
Well, Samsung was there, so housing is supposed to follow.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm really learning from this? Like this can be a great example for everyone watching. When we bring you the news of where the next big development for industrial and commercial businesses is going to be, get into action right away,
Yeah.
because properties are coming afterwards. So a lot of people think that why are we hearing that Tesla has a warehouse in Kyle, Texas at this location? Well, we're sharing that because housing is about to follow.
Let me tell you something else that you might like to hear. And the report didn't pull up when I gone to it just now, but home builders are a lot more optimistic and they're ramping up construction. So when do they become optimistic? When the market starts to trend higher, right?
Yeah.
Like they're looking at the numbers, same numbers that we are. And
Yeah.
so that's something that I wanted to bring up to your
And you know what
guys'
they're
attention.
doing? They're raising their prices right now.
They
Yeah.
are.
Removing some of the incentives that they were having. It's still good, but
Do you guys know something crazy that I read this week? So I was reading the Austin Board of Realtors market research. You know, we all know that median sales price is up by 1%, 1.5%, 5%. Active listings are up, pending sales are down for residential sales. Guess where pending sales have tripled?
Where?
Leases.
Oh, leases have tripled.
Pending sales and leases have tripled for homes that are under $300,000 because first-time home buyers are having a hard time buying a property.
Mhm.
And to compensate for that missing housing, renting continues to fill that gap for first-time home buyers.
Mhm.
So I don't hear people telling me that they're building houses in 300 range. All we hear is 500, 600, right, Bree? Like that's like the norm.
Hey, Bree, I just want to acknowledge something you were saying a few weeks back, and you were highlighting an area that I think now
Yeah.
is going to be under the microscope, and more people are becoming aware of it. And granted, they probably were aware of it already, but you had mentioned it several weeks ago. Anna, Texas. I just read a report that's growing at a 524% increase. And so, although it might seem like it's out in the boonies, but I was amazed, and I was really happy that we're some of the first people talking about this stuff. And so I just really feel good about the work we're doing. So I just want to say thank you.
That doesn't happen a lot, guys. For y'all who don't know Roger all the way. In business world,
Yeah. I don't know.
in business world, this is how Rosie and Roger business talk look like behind the scenes. Hey, honey, what do you think about the work we just did today? I think we could be better. We can be asking better questions.
Yeah.
Never,
True. It's so true, Bree.
never a
what
good
it is.
job. Never a good. He's the biggest critique in our business. I like it, but sometimes, man, I need a good job too. I need some dopamine to keep going.
I want everybody,
And I have to call Bree.
I want our viewers and our customers, our clients to really get the best information. I want them to have a great experience, and I want them to be able to say that we were there for them and we helped guide them. So, guys, it wouldn't be fair if we didn't touch on Dallas and Houston. So if you guys don't mind, I
Yeah.
just have a couple of things that I want to share there. And just not a whole lot, but just something I think that's valuable. Let's see here. Let me share my screen. So it's the Fields Project, and everybody in Frisco that lives near there knows about it. And so if we have out-of-state investors or people that are not quite aware, this is the Fields Project. This is near the Dallas North Tollway. And so this is like a $10 billion project.
Wow.
Yeah, and they've completed the first phase, which was a $2 billion phase, but it's a total $10 billion impact. And there's a lot of neighborhoods around there. And so if you're thinking about investing or even moving to Texas, this is a great place that you could experience quite a bit. There's a lot of shopping. There's already existing infrastructure there. There's a lot of food, restaurants, and all of that sort of thing. So I just keep imagining, I said, what else could they possibly need? They had everything already. So I'm kind of really excited to see where they take this and what more they bring out here. So In addition to that, one last thing here. Let's see, Dallas. This was the article I was mentioning to you, Bree, earlier about Anna. And so Anna, 525% year over year increase in
Wow.
population. If you guys can still find a good deal out there,
Ridiculously high. This is high, very high.
very high. Contact Brittany and get with her and pick up something before it's too late. And now Frisco could also become a sports headquarter. And they're saying it's the up and coming because I think they have the Dallas Cowboys headquarters in Frisco and a few other headquarters. But what I thought was really interesting about this list was Austin was at the very top of the list. Hey. I love Dallas. I love Austin.
Hey,
That's funny. Wait, Roger, I just want to say something really quickly about
Please.
the property in Anna.
Yes.
This week I didn't pull any properties in Anna. Last week I did. I just want everyone to know that the numbers are showing slightly negative on cash flow if we're looking at 25% down right now. But that's just because I think the amount of growth that they've experienced, the rents haven't been able to kind of catch up to where it needs to be. But with that kind of growth that they're experiencing, it's only a matter of time before the rents start to catch up. So you might see a little bit negative cash flow on the sheet from last week for it. But I think it's just because
I want to add something
Yeah.
here, Bree, real quick. I know this has been a conversation for over a year for us where we're telling people, hey, rents might not make sense, but property is great. There's this book called Psychology of Money, and most investors really need to make up their mind about what game they're playing. Are they playing a quick fix and flip game where they want instant cash flow, or are they playing a game that's long term? If it's a long-term game, then they got to just be patient and understand that it is an investment in your future years. So I don't want to no longer apologize for low rents anymore when we are able to bring properties that are remarkably great at appreciating. We don't make the market, we only interpret the market. So when people call us, they are expecting us to bring property to the table that is going to multiply their initial down payment. And I think with time and time again, we have remarkably delivered that. So I'm sorry, but not sorry for all the low rents. I would say at this point, suck it up.
So I think there's
no, I
No,
want to say,
seriously.
Roger, I want to say something about that,
Please.
Rosie. Thank you for saying that because I've been reading some books on some other things, and we were having the conversation just what we were talking about with the fiduciary versus what was the other one? I already forgot.
Functionary. She doesn't even know how to be a functionary.
But sometimes we have to get. It's better for us to be a little bit more uncomfortable in telling you the truth rather than being comfortable and not telling you what is the truth. I can sit here all day and say, yes, I'm happy to find you something that has positive cash flow that is going to be great. But sometimes the great properties have negative cash flow right now in the market that we're in, but it will yield you positive returns in the future. And if we're not able to be completely open and honest and transparent about what the true gains that you can have in the future, then we're doing you a disservice.
Yeah.
You got functionaries for it. You don't need us for that.
Rosie, I think there's overall three kinds of investors, and it's important to know what kind of investor you are, right? The very first one, they only want tried and true. They want to make sure someone's done it before so that it's a very calculated risk for them. Then you have other people who want to try outside of the box strategies. That's what they thrive on. They can afford to risk more because they're interested in the larger gains. Those are the people that ultimately, I think, win in life. Those are the ones that dominate, right? And then you have people who, the third kind of investor, I think, is the investor that doesn't know they're an investor, but they do have a healthy mindset. They're thinking about buying a home to live in. And if they really start looking at themselves as an investor and they start looking at areas that are growing, like if you're living in the Dallas area, you might as well buy an Anna because it's a growing population. It's going to be great for you. And I don't think all of the corporate level people working at the chip factories in Sherman are going to live right underneath those smokestacks. They're probably going to live in Anna or Frisco, right? McKinney. So McKinney's getting a $200 million concert venue. like who's going there? Who's going to this concert venue? Probably the people with really good jobs working in these big companies. And so, to your point, guys,
Suck it up. Just kidding.
suck it up.
Thank me
Yeah.
later. I tell people all the time, I said, I'm not looking for no thank you because it's coming 10 years later.
I do want to share something about Houston, guys. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, so we were talking about sucking it up, and but we're also talking about, having a trusted resource and getting really good information. And so now it's not really much of a risk anymore. So let me share this next slide with you. And this is probably only temporary, but it is the news that we're looking at now, right? So this is Sunbelt housing markets see high price to rent premiums. So they're saying like the rent, it makes more sense to rent than to own in these markets. And so as McAllen, Texas was at the top, San Jose. So the rents quite haven't caught up, right? It's cheaper to rent than own. And here at the bottom, you have Houston. So we hadn't really shared a whole lot of news on Houston, and I don't have anything else to share with you guys today. So we are talking about Dallas and Houston. Dallas is still up here, but Dallas and Austin. And guess what? Austin is not on the list. So you're better off spending your money here in Austin, guys. Just frankly, sorry to say that to the residents that live there, but you want to own rental property.
You know what I really struggle with? I don't struggle with it actually, but I'm like kind of dumbfounded when people say this. They said, you are going to want me to buy something because you get paid for it.
How does that make you feel?
I've never understood that. I've never understood when people say that, well, you are going to tell me to buy something because you're going to get paid for it. I don't think they understand that saying something just to get paid is the fastest way to get out of business. We're in a long-term business. We stay in business if we guide you right. I mean, that's our track record. 90% of our business is word of mouth. And I don't think people would be happy to recommend us if we are like, we just got a referral from Lake Jackson today. They wouldn't be referring to us if they didn't believe we will do right by people. Everybody gets paid for the work they do. So why should it be any different for us? And we're not trying to sell you something that you're going to be burning and churning like a little travel ticket in a week or a month. You're going to get to own that thing and pass it down for decades in your family. So once again,
I think, Rosie, what you just said would cause someone I would think it would cause shame in somebody if they did that. And they wouldn't be able to face the person again because they just sold them something because they wanted to get paid. I don't feel like that's definitely not us. We're there every step of the way. We're interested in staying in relationship with these people. And I honestly feel like these are my family members, you know?
yeah.
I'm kind of motivated by the idea of how would you, what's the information you would give to your own mother or your father or to your family members, you know? And I'd like to think that's how I'm leading every day in business and relationships with people.
Like, I just wanted to say it out loud. You know, people think, oh, you're giving me good news because you want me to buy something, you get paid. Well, I'm going to get paid no matter what. The question is, are you going to be paid in future by taking action?
That's a good point.
So I don't get paid unless you get paid. So,
ouch.
So, hey, it's a mutual relationship here. Bree, how about you? Do you have anything else that you want to add today from your findings?
Yeah. Let me pull it up real quick. There are. Sorry, guys. I gotta copy paste this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fastest copy paste click button I heard.
Now I gotta present. Okay, where are we? Why does it always do this? Okay. So I did. Can y'all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. There are a couple of really good opportunities for duplexes that I saw. So this one is in Hunter's Chase, very close to like Visa, Charles Schwab.
Yeah.
McNeil is the high school. So
Yeah.
one side is a 3-2, the other one is a 2-1. Now, I mean, the condition of the property is fine. It was built in 84, but I'm not sure if they probably did some remodeling and,
Yeah.
in the 90s or early 2000s. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from what I'm seeing.
Hmm.
But this is like nice, clean property. Asking price is $565. One side is currently rented out for $1795. The rent on a 2-1 is probably somewhere between like $1525 to $1575 in that area. You're coming up slightly negative cash flow on 25% down. But just like we were talking about, the long-term gain that you can experience with this location, like,
Oh yeah,
I mean, you're probably like not even 10 minutes from the Domain.
that's a gold mine.
Here, Domain is right here. Like,
Wow.
and
So
it's,
basically, you know what I'm wowed by? That you actually have a duplex available for sale.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
have
they
a
have
couple.
duplexes.
Guys, I have a couple. And what's really exciting is I feel like more are coming on the market. But let me tell you one thing that is indicative of what we're about to experience. Let me show you this property right here. There's, again, a 2-2 and a 3-2, nicely remodeled and updated. Numbers are yielding like, I think it's 600 positive cash flow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
well, 630 if we're looking at
35% down. Yeah.
but look at this. Oh, wait. Is it not this one? There's one that has multiple offers. Aha, this one.
Mm.
Wow.
Multiple offers due today at 5 p.m.
Well. Not surprised.
But Bree, at that price, you could live on one side and rent the other side out.
I know. I am curious to see what it's going to actually sell for. They're listed at 415. What kind of multiple offers are we going to be getting? This, I think,
That was on 79. I
huh?
think. I think it was on 79. That
Yeah,
last.
yeah. And it's Round Rock. It's Round Rock High School zone.
Mm.
Um, I am curious to see what it's going to actually sell for. I think that'll kind of tell us what the market is about to do.
So it sounds like multiple offers are back. Properties are coming on the market, which means sellers are more confident in the market. We are seeing more domains pop up all over the city. We're becoming the sports center of Texas after Frisco after us. And money is moving. So if your criteria is that you're only going to buy if a property positive cash flow, I'm sorry, this is not market for you. You might want to just sit back, relax, and watch other people take action. But if you're someone who knows the game you're playing and you very well understand that real estate is a long-term gain for you, this market is perfect for you. So I got nothing else to say. Today we've delivered 48 minutes of back-to-back value and some real talk with Rivet Real Estate. I hope you all enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We are going to be back again next week with more wows and unbelievable experiences that we have on every week basis.
Absolutely. And guys,
And,
like, comment, share, and also
yeah.
if you're on our email subscription list, you'll also get a PDF to accompany this that'll have a lot more information on how one of the things we'll cover in there is how Williamson County scored $100 million automotive supplier with the help of Nolan Ryan, the famous baseball player.
Oh.
So, and other stories like that. And also, I think David Porter was a big contributor to that, Rosie. our friend at
He's the head of economic development at Williamson County. So
yeah.
very nice guy. What a giving person he is. Like, I can't wait to see him show up on some of our events and add value. So unbelievable. Thank you so much, guys. Anything else y'all want to add? All right. Well, like, subscribe, and comment below and let us know what else you want to hear about. And if you're looking for a real talk with someone who understands real estate, we're here for you. Until next week, make it a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy
Take
Easter,
care.
everyone.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, yeah.